Hello wonderful people, it's Otri Dev here once again, and welcome to the part 2 of the series where we are building a URL shortener using Nuxt.js and a Django REST framework. So let's preview where we got to in the last video, or in the part 1. So in the part 1, this is where we got to. We were done with the UI, and it was left for us to connect it to the Django the Django backend for us to receive the shortened URL after we have sent the long URL to it. Okay, so for that, we have, as I said in the first video, we have already created the Django REST framework. This is it. We created it in a video which is already hosted on YouTube, where we created a URL shortener REST framework using Django. So if you have not watched that video, I'm going to link it up here, so keep an eye on it. You can watch it and come back later and continue with this one. Okay, so this is it. You are going to clone the project, or you can clone it or download the zip from here. Okay, so you are going to start the REST framework, then connect it to the Nuxt.js for our bit.ly clone to work. Okay, so let's jump into Visual Studio Code. So this is our Nuxt code. So I've opened up the Django REST framework, or the API, which has been cloned from the GitHub. So before we go ahead, I have made some few changes in 3 files. As you can see, 1, 2, 3. These 3 files has been modified. So let me talk about those changes. There are just some simple few changes, then we continue to use it, or we start up the server so we can use it. So inside the settings.py file, I added the course header, headers package, which is the cross-origin resource sharing package. So it allows us to be our front end to connect to the back end or to the REST framework without it being served on the same server. Okay. Then I also added the course headers middleware on top of all the middlewares. Okay, and the last thing, so 1, 2, and the last change I made was, I added the course origin, the course allow all origin. I set it to true. So for security reasons, because you are just testing it, or you are just using it for development purposes, that's why it is set to true. But for security reasons, and when you're about to deploy it, you said this one will be automatically set to false. So when you want to allow it to just your front end, then you set the course origin, course allow origins. That one will be in a different, that will be a list of origins that you want to be able to connect to your REST framework. Okay, so because you are just developing it, or you are in development mode, that's why this one is all. We are allowing all. Then inside the views.py file is located inside the API app, this API app, I added this API view. Okay, so this API view is going to act as a retrieve API view, but this one is our own custom one instead of using the generic API view. Okay, so it is going to receive a post request. And inside the post request, inside the body of the post request, we are looking for, inside the body, we are expecting a field with link, a field name linked. Okay, then we are going to search inside our database of links that we have already to get that particular link that was sent to our backend. Okay, so you can see we are doing some f string over here. So this one is our host URL. So if you watch the video where we created the API, you will see that we had this host URL, and this host URL is pointing to the URL on which the API is being served on, and this link is a code, or it's a shortened code that is being sent from the front end to the back end. Okay, and we are going to get the original link. So when we get the original link, we return the original link back as a JSON response. Okay, but if we search and we don't get this link, we want to return an HTTP bad request, or when we check and we do not get that particular link, if it does not exist, we also want to send an HTTP bad request as the response. And if anything else happens, you want to send the HTTP response as bad request. Okay, so basically this endpoint here, this is just the endpoint, or this is just the modification I made. It's just receiving a post. So if it is a get, it's an HTTP bad request. Okay, so the last change is going to be in the urls.py file, where I brought the retrieve API, that view I just showed you, to the URLs, and I added it to it. Okay, so this is it. So I gave it this get link slash, and I use get retrieve link dot as view. Okay, so the name is link. All right, so these are just the few changes that I made to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the server app so that we can go back to our front end and use it. Okay, so we are going to first source in our .env file. All right, then the next thing that we want to do is Python manage.py run server. All right, so it's going to run very soon. Then we go back to our front end and we start the action. All right, so this is it. We have started our Django REST framework. Let's go back to our Nuxt.js and start using it. Okay, so the code to the changes that I made to the API will also be inside the GitHub repo that has been hosted on GitHub. Okay, so don't worry about that. So inside the form here, if you watch the part 1, which I highly recommend that you watch, we created this API, we created this method that is going to post to our back end. Okay, so here when you get the response, we are making it a JSON. Okay, so I want to print the data out so that we see whether it is working for the meantime. So console.log data. Okay, so let's save it and let's come back to our index.view. Let's save this one too and go back to our what's the name there, browser. Sorry. So the first thing that we need is we need a long link. Let me get something that is quite okay. So this is a little bit good. Let's grab this and let's paste it here. Control V. All right, so we are going to click on this, the shorten. Okay, then you see this one just automatically pops out, but the data that is in here is not correct, or it has been hard coded. Okay, it has been hard coded. So what we need to do is open up the console. Sorry, open up the console and check to see whether we have our data. Okay, so we can see that we have an object here. So let's check out the object. What's in the object? Okay, so you can see it returned to us an original link. This is what we posted, or we posted to the REST framework, and this is the shortened form, which is this here. Okay, so we have to find a way of sending this thing, or passing that link that we have here to this hard-coded value here. so that it be able to show it to the user. Okay, so let's go back to our code, Visual Studio Code, right? Then now we have this data, or this data, shorten link data here being populated. Okay, so we have to find a way of passing it to this link component. All right, so the only way we can do that, or the way I think we should do it, is by passing it as a props. Okay, so we are going to pass it as a props. So the props is going to be shorten link, shorten underscore link, and it is going to be equal to the data shorten link. Let me grab the spelling so that I don't spell it wrongly. Okay, paste it here. Okay, so let's save it. Since you are passing this as a props, we have to go to the link component, then accept the props, and we'll be able to use it in there. Okay, so inside the data, or inside the export, let's accept our props. It's going to be a list. Let me pass in the props. So this is what the props is being called. So now we can use this props here inside where we have hard coded this value. Okay, so let's change this thing here to this. Okay, to the shorten link. Before we go, let's correct this thing here. So justify, it's supposed to be justify. I don't know. Justify center. Okay, all right, so let's save it. All right, so let's go back. So let's refresh. Oh, it's not supposed to be center. Okay, I'm coming. Let's work on that thing quickly. Justify between, yeah. Justify between. Okay, so we are using Tailwind. If you don't know, it is Tailwind that we are using for the styling. Okay, okay guys, so let's try it out. Let's go grab the same URL that we used for the first one. So I'll copy this one, then let's paste it here, Control V, then let's click on the shorten. Okay, so you have some code over here. Okay, so seems to make some mistake somewhere. Okay, let's go back. Seems the value you are passing here, it's not being so. The problem is that I have wrapped the template string inside a string or a single quotation mark too. I don't know how this happened, but we're going to take that one off. Let's take this one off. Let's take this one too off. Okay, this time around it should work. Right, so let's save this and go back and refresh our page. So a quick one. Okay, so our page has refreshed. So let's paste it here again and try it out. Okay, so you can see now you have a link now. This has not been hard coded. This is from the back end. Okay, so now we have this link over here, but it's not redirecting to anything. So you let's click on this to copy it. Okay, click on it. It has been copied. Then we go, let's open a new tab. Let's paste it here. Hey, no, it's okay guys, so it seems you forgot to implement one functionality. So I had this functionality where when you click on this button, it copies the link here. It's copied it here. So let's add it quickly, then we continue our journey. All right, so inside the link component, we are going to add a method. So put a comma here. Let's add our methods. So we are going to call it copy div to clipboard. All right. Okay, so it is going to be, we are going to copy this link prop here to our link board. So you are going to use navigator dot clipboard dot write text. Oh no, if I can spell well, write text. So the text that we want to, the text that we want to write to the clipboard, that's what we are going to pass inside this parenthesis. Okay, and the text we want to pass is this props over here. So it's going to be this dot $ props dot shorten link right. So this is what we want to pass to the this is what you want to copy to the clipboard. Okay, so when you are done, you want to alert the user. So we are going to use alert link copied. Okay, something simple so that the person knows that the link has been copied. All right, so let's save it. Let's go. Okay, so let's try it out and see if it's going to work. I guess you have to refresh the page. Okay guys, so let's go grab the URL and try it for the last time. This time around, I'm sure it's going to work. Okay, so let's paste it here. Let's shorten it. Then let's click on this. I don't know why it's not copying. Okay, we don't have any errors too. So let's paste it here and see whether it's going to work. Control A, delete. Control V. Wow, it's not working. Okay, so the reason it's not working is because we have just created this thing here and we are not passing it to the button here. So you have to place a click event on this. So at click, we have to use copy div to clipboard. This. Okay, so let's save it. Let's go back and see whether our page has refreshed. Okay, so let's try it out. Okay, so this time around it's worked. So what I was saying is that now we have this link here. Let me clear all this off. We have this link over here, Control V. We have this link over here, but it doesn't go to anywhere. So let me just hit enter. You see you'll be sent to a 404 page. Okay, so you can see it started saying that this page could not be found. All right, so it's not redirecting us to a new page. So we want to be redirected to the long URL which is being saved on the Django REST framework. So whenever we hit our endpoint with some random string at the end, we want to make a request to the back end or to the Django REST framework, get the long URL, then direct the person to that long URL or the original URL. Okay, and we also want to customize this 404 page. It doesn't look attractive at all. All right, so let's go and work on that, the redirecting part. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is let's close this one down a little bit. So we are going to have another page. So inside this, we are going to use the folder routing approach instead of the file. So you are going to create a new folder, and since you want it to be a dynamic ID or a dynamic string, we are going to place our underscore over there, and we are going to give the parameter a link, or parameter and name called link. Save it. So inside it, you are going to create a new folder, a new file called index.view. Okay, so we are going to scaffold our view up. All right, so inside this page, or inside this page, we can choose not to have any template, but it will take some few seconds for our front end to make a request to the back end. Then it receives in that original and long URL which we want to redirect the person to. So we will place some slight template over here so that the person knows that he or she is being redirected to the original link. Okay, so we're going to have a div, and inside it you are going to have a p tag, and you are going to write redirecting you to span, and you are going to pass in a dynamic link over here, the original link which you will receive from the back end. Okay, and you are going to place another p tag below, and inside it you are going to say thank you for using sorry guys, thank you for using Nuxt Django URL shortener. All right, so let's give it some styling. Okay, so give it some Tailwind classes. So first you are going to make a text center, then padding top of 20, then you're going to give it a text gray of 800. Right, then this span you are going to give it some classes too. It's going to have a text blue of 400. Okay, so we are done with just the templating. So let's get into the meaty stuff. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to make a request to the back end, then get the original URL. So we are going to use the async data. So the async data is going to prevent the page from being mounted, or it's going to make a request to the back end before the page is being rendered. Okay, so before the page is rendered, you are going to have access to the long URL where the person should be redirected to. Okay, so first you are going to have an async data. So inside it, you are going to, you are going to destructure the context, and you want to get the error, the params, and the error. Okay, you are going to call the error, or the error when we do not find that particular link on our Django REST framework. Okay, and the params you are going to use it to get the link parameter. Okay. So try, you're going to use a try catch statement. Sorry. All right. So here you are going to use our old girlfriend fetch API, our fetch API. So await a fetch request. Sorry, here it's supposed to be await. So await fetch. Then you are going to make a fetch request to the get link endpoint, which I showed you inside the Django REST framework. Okay, so it's going to be http / localhost port 8000 / get link. Okay, and I told you that it is expecting a get request, a post request. Sorry, a post request. So let's append our ending /. Okay, so we are going to pass our object, and we are going to pass the method, which is a post. No, sorry, method, which is a post request. Then the next thing that we need is the headers. We need to tell what kind of data that we are coming, or we are posting to the backend. So the content type, is going to be application /JSON. All right. Then the body. So the body is going to be a JSON.stringify. All right. And if you quite remember, I told you that it is going to expect a body with a field link, and the link should be the shorten code, which is the link here, which the dynamic link parameter here, with the dynamic link parameter here. Okay, so we are going to pass it along. So params dot link. Okay, so this is what you are passing to the back end. So when we are done, we want to check if the response is okay. So if response is not okay, that's why I'm negating it over here. We want to check if it is not okay. If it's not okay, we want to throw an error, and it's supposed to be a capital E, and the error message is going to be it's supposed to be error. All right, but if it's okay, or if the response is okay, then we want to get the data out of it. So data is going to be, I'm going to await that one too. Await rest.json. All right, then you are going to return it. So for us to be able to have access to that data that has been sent from the backend, or that has been sent, or the response that has been sent from the backend, we have to return that particular data. Okay, So we are going to return an object which has length, and it's going to be data dot length. All right, but if there is an error, if there's an error, we want to call this error parameter here, we want to call it. Okay, that's what is going to load up the 404 page. So instead, you are going to pass it a status code, which is going to be 404, and a message, which is page not found. Okay, sorry if I can spell found well. All right, so this is it, page not found. So so this is the link we are going to pass here. Okay, so let's save this. And go back to our browser. Okay, so you are going to refresh this page. Let's refresh this. Let's give it a few seconds. Okay, so you have an error. It says unexpected, whatever. Wow, where is the error coming from? Let me go and check it out quickly. Okay guys, so we are getting this weird error, so let's go and fix it up quickly. So I went back and I made some checking. So first, the async, I spelled it wrong. It's supposed to have a C there, but at first I mixed it. And since you are using await in it, you are supposed to make this an async function. Sorry, async. This way. Oh, what am I spelling? Sorry guys, here is supposed to be Y. Okay, then we are going to save it. Then the next thing is the link, the endpoint that we are supposed to make the post request to. It has an API here, so I've corrected that one too. So it has an API here. Okay, so let's save it and let's go back and refresh to see whether it's going to work. Let's refresh this.
This video is
okay guys, so you can see now you have a response from the backend, and you see it has dynamically passed in this URL here. So this is the original URL which we have to redirect the person to, or the user to. Okay, so let's handle the redirecting quickly. So back to our editor. So we are going to do the redirecting inside the before mount lifecycle hook. Okay, or before mounted. Okay, so before mounted, then inside it you are going to change the window location. You can set it the location directly. Location is equal to this dot data $data dot length, and let's save it. Okay, let's go back and give it let's refresh again. Okay, so you can see our page is being refreshed. Okay, so you see it has automatically redirected us to the GitHub repo of the bit.ly clone API. So our API, what's the name? Our URL shortener is working. We are almost done. We are almost done. So let's copy this. This one is too long. Let's copy this Stack Overflow here. Then let's come to our URL shortener clone, paste it here, and then let's shorten it. Okay, so we get to this one over here. Then we click on this copy button. It's copied. Then let's come here. Let's paste it. Let's see whether it's going to work. A few seconds more. A little seconds more. It's going to redirect us very soon. So you see, you saw the redirected the message came very quickly. Then we have been redirected to this place. Okay, so our redirection is working, but the last thing I want us to work on is the error page. So let's say we edit the link that we copied slightly, paste here. Let's take off this E from it. Then let's search and see whether you are going to get the error page. We are getting this 404 page which does not look attractive at all. So let's work on that one quickly. It's just going to be one template, then we are done. Okay, so for the 404 page you are going to use a layout. So by default you have a default layout here which is provided by Nuxt.js with the initial starter files. For us to get the error page, you are supposed to add another layout with the name error. Okay, so error.view. Okay, so let's boilerplate it. It's our view. So it's going to be some simple HTML, and I'm going to copy it from my repo. Then just that, it's going to be very simple. I'll copy it and I'll paste it here, then I'll walk you through it. Okay, so I'm going to paste in the code here. It's very simple. So Ctrl V. So this is it. It's just some simple templates that this one requires the 404 page from the asset folder. This is it. So it's just a simple, and add some simple Tailwind style into it. Okay, so let's save it and go back to our browser. Then let's refresh this. Okay, so we have a problem. Sorry. Quickly, let's fix that. So this thing here is going to be 404. Forgot to change it up. So let's save it. Go back. Sorry. Let's refresh this again. Okay, so you can see we have this beautiful 404 page now. So guys, we are done with our project. So let's close it with some success story. not on the 404 page or a 404 error. Okay, so let's grab this URL. Let's copy it. It's very long, but let's go back. I don't know what's running this. Let's refresh it. So you're going to paste the code here. It's really long. This is a long one. Seems you are getting an error. Let's check from the REST API. So you are getting a bad request. I don't know how. Okay, so the post has not yet been created. So I'm getting a bad request. Sorry about that, guys. We are almost done and you are getting bad request errors. So let's grab a simple one. I think it is from the length. It's too long. Let's grab this one. So let's try this. Okay, so now you have it. Then you can copy this and let's paste it over here. V, then let's check whether we will be redirected. A few seconds more. So we are being redirected, okay, and we are redirected to the Stack Overflow question. Okay, so guys, this is a wrap. Thank you very much for joining me in this tutorial. It's a pleasure having you and spending your time with me. So we are done with our project. The code will be hosted on GitHub, and the link will be left in the description below. Please kindly check. Please, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Please, it's really important to me, okay?